The black and white era. It's such an important part of cinema history, the period in which so many classics were birthed from the works of Fritz Lang and Charlie Chaplin, films that would prove to stand the test of time and establish a vast array of conventions in modern filmmaking, not only in terms of genre or storytelling tropes, but also in the techniques used to transfer these movies from the minds of their creators to the silver screen in front of packed auditoriums. A revolution in popular entertainment, all on beautiful black and white film stock. But then, something happened. A new revolution came. Technicolor. Ever since the release of films such as The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind, colour has completely taken over the medium as the standard, with black and white now seen as a stylistic choice. Alexander Payne's Nebraska and Ben Wheatley's A Field in England are perfect examples of this. Both modern films which use a monochrome look to further enhance the themes of the film, A Field in England uses the look to add dramatic shadowy images. Need some shadows in these images. Similar to Anna Lily Amirpour's A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, whereas Nebraska uses the absence of colour to ensure that the images projected on screen match the bleak circumstances its characters find themselves in. Another film to use black and white imagery in this way is Ida, a film which tackles themes of guilt, violence and death. But colour has always been of importance to filmmaking, long before the zeitgeist of Technicolor. While the viewer might not have been able to see these vibrant shades, different coloured filters, different coloured lights are all used behind the scenes to create different moods when using monochrome photography. Even in modern photography and film grading, coloured filters are placed over images before converting them to black and white, resulting in the manipulation of light and shadow. For example, a red filter will allow the reds in an image to shine through, but will prevent the blues from doing so, producing a striking image full of strong contrast.
My name is Max.
Inventive coloured lighting techniques are also of great importance to black and white photography, especially for the creation of special effects, which brings us to Mario Bava's Black Sunday. A story of witches, vampires and wicked curses, and the barbaric means of expelling such evildoers. Made in 1960, decades after the Technicolor revolution, the director had to fight for this film to be shot in black and white, because, as is the case to this day, there is a threat to box office success when shooting in monochrome because general audiences have become so accustomed to colour. How do I describe... Oh fuck, I can't even remember the name. How do I describe... How do I describe Black Sunday? If you were to take every Universal monster movie, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, whatever, throw them in a blender, stitch them back together, inject them with steroids, and you get something that comes close to this movie. Now, as I've said, you stitched it back together, so it's not perfect. It's not the immaculate works of horror that Universal were churning out from the 30s through to the 50s. But then again, it didn't have the budget that those movies had. But what it lacks in technical finesse and coherence, it more than makes up for in excitement and sheer kinetic energy. I mean, just look at this. How any fan of Evil Dead could resist it, I don't know. It acts as such a fisting precursor. It acts as such a fitting precursor by taking the style and subject matter seen in classic horror cinema and upping the gore which would later saturate Raimi's trilogy. It marks a point of transition for the genre and indeed one of the films which significantly contributed to the increase of violence and horror throughout the 70s and 80s. But it's this scene here, the one in which the vampire Asa... Is it Asa or Asa?
I imagine Asa.
Asa? I think it is Asa.
Yeah, I can't remember saying Asa.
They say it really weird. It's like, there's a guy in it called, I think if you were to like write it down, it's like Jovita is how it is. And everyone in the film calls him Yavitage.
What?
You're like, what? Because I wanted to do it for this. I was like, how the fuck do you say this guy's name? And I look up the film and they're all saying Yavitage. And I look it up and it's Jovita.
Jovita?
Yeah.
God.
Like, that ain't no Yavitage. Now where the fuck was I? But it's this scene here, the one in which the vampire Asa transforms from a beautiful young woman into a decrepit hag, Snow White style. Now Bava wanted to do this all in camera. He didn't want to have it dissolve from one shot to the next for the transformation scene, he wanted to have it as one seamless take. Now to do this, they painted all the wrinkles onto her face in red face paint, and then they threw a red light onto her, to match the colour of the paint, so then on camera it would show up as just being white. And then as they dim the red light and then show a green light onto her, the red contrasts with the green and it appears as black on camera, giving the effect that hundreds of years of age are sinking into her face over a matter of seconds. Black Sunday is an important film, not only to the history of horror cinema and what films it went on to influence, but to filmmakers today. It stands as a piece of work amongst many others, which I think offers cheap and innovative solutions to practical effects and other obstacles which filmmakers will encounter along their creative journeys. But what do I know? You can buy Black Sunday and hundreds of other titles, including a fantastic range of Mario Bava's work, on Blu-ray from Arrow Video. The link to their website is down below, so check them out. You can also buy their products from Zavvi.com, Amazon, HMV.com, or in store at your local Tower Records. If you don't know, Arrow Films are a distributor which source and restore pieces of cult cinema which would otherwise be forgotten in time. They do fantastic work and deserve credit for celebrating these movies because they are incredibly important and interesting. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, sure give it a like and a subscribe, and if you want to see more, Zoe has some great content on this channel too, so check it out. But what would she know?